Yeah, but so there's still, I mean, it's crazy too because there's still more happening in court. Like, I mean, everything is still active even though we're not hearing about it as much anymore. And the people may be fatigued like we talked about prior to.
Because he said it on stage.
Diddy was poisoning people.
Bro,
Whoa.
I think there was some crazy going on.
Like Cosby like
Diddy wasn't even that big.
I think
it was Drake could do it.
There's alleged murders, a bunch of people that got pneumonia, a bunch of convenient people that...
It's no secret that Hollywood has always been shrouded in mystery, whispers, and power plays that happen behind the glitz and glamour. But when Daniel Baldwin, a member of one of Hollywood's most famous acting families, recently opened up about the shadowy underbelly of the entertainment world, he sent shockwaves through fans and insiders alike. In a candid and explosive interview, Baldwin didn't hold back, diving into everything from the personal rifts in his own family to the alleged manipulative tactics and secret dealings of some of Hollywood's biggest players.
Did you ever spend time with the guy? Did you ever meet Diddy?
I've met him before, yeah.
How was he?
Very nice guy, very smart, super business. You know, I mean, he's very successful.
At the center of much of this intrigue, Sean Diddy Combs, once celebrated as a music and business mogul, now buried in a wave of allegations that go far beyond his public persona as a party king. Baldwin's revelations weren't just a peek into the darker side of fame, but a full-blown spotlight on the power dynamics and whispered secrets that have long fueled Hollywood's most dangerous rumors.
I'll tell you, I don't know how much, I don't like to say things that I know unless I see it. That there's a little difference, you know. But was it discussed? Was there descriptions from people I know that were at those? Yes, but here's another thing. So how many of these big entertainment parties and over the years and everything with as successful as you are, have you been around? Does anyone ever come up to you at a certain hour and say, okay, it's time to go? At those parties, they did.
Daniel Baldwin, known for his outspoken personality, laid it all out, revealing how family, politics, and Hollywood's culture of influence are deeply intertwined. He admitted that political divides within his own famous family, particularly with his brother Alec Baldwin, have caused years of tension, but what really grabbed attention was his pivot to Hollywood's hidden power structures. Baldwin didn't shy away from naming names, pointing to figures like Diddy and comparing his alleged behavior to the manipulative tactics of Jeffrey Epstein.
Look at Diddy, for instance. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at him. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at, he has videos. He has videos of the parties. Now, what I've heard, which I don't know how much of it is in mainstream media, I don't really follow the story that much, but what I've heard from friends that are attorneys, friends of mine that have represented me before, agents and so on, is there's a bidding war going on.
He argued that the entertainment industry operates within systems of control and secrecy, where power is maintained through fear, favors, and silence. Baldwin's tone was one of exasperation, almost as if he were tired of the charade that has kept these stories buried for so long. Hollywood and politics have always been about what's hidden, Baldwin said, hinting at the intersection of secrets, power, and manipulation that seems to permeate every corner of the industry. Baldwin painted a vivid picture of Hollywood's so-called party culture, suggesting that while these extravagant gatherings might appear glamorous on the surface, they often mask something far more sinister. According to him, Diddy's legendary events, including his celebrated white parties, were more than just social gatherings, they were strategic. He suggested these parties were carefully curated environments where the powerful could indulge without fear of exposure, thanks to a system of surveillance and control.
To not be involved, a famous singer, to not come out, here's the price. And that they're just selling to the individuals that are in those, this is what I heard, they're selling those videos. So if you're Tommy X, and Tommy X is a big, big movie star, and he was at some of the Diddy parties, he was in one of those bedrooms with 3 other men, and he's happily married to a woman, and blah. Tommy doesn't want that video to come out.
Baldwin shared troubling details about how the late-night crowd at these parties would dwindle to a select few with doors locked and any outsiders removed. He alleged that hidden cameras were installed in places where guests least expected them, capturing footage that could later be used as leverage. The implication was clear. These parties weren't just for fun, they were tools for maintaining power and ensuring loyalty.
Same thing for Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the interesting thing about the Epstein and the theory about Epstein is we know he filmed people for sure on that island. He has a lot of movies, a lot of films of people that are very, very powerful political figures. And entertainers, business people. So, do you really believe that Jeffrey Epstein himself? And
of course not.
Of course not. Yeah.
The idea of using secret recordings as a form of control struck a nerve, especially when Baldwin compared these rumors about Diddy's events to the well-documented tactics of Jeffrey Epstein. Baldwin speculated that some of the same methods of entrapment and blackmail might be at play, with compromising footage allegedly being used to silence or manipulate individuals in positions of power. He mentioned the whispers of a bidding war over these supposed recordings where lawyers and agents reportedly scramble to protect their clients' reputations. While Baldwin didn't provide hard evidence, his tone suggested he believed there was more than enough smoke to point to a fire.
People I don't think realized was he had cameras all over the place, unbeknownst to them. And now he has all that footage, supposedly. This is what I'm told. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens if, you're a huge iconic, TV star or movie star, and you're in some very, very...
Beyond the alleged blackmail, Baldwin also delved into the broader cultural shifts that have desensitized the public to increasingly outrageous behavior. He argued that Hollywood has been pushing boundaries for decades, eroding moral lines and normalizing the extreme. He pointed to how modern forms of entertainment, from violent video games to increasingly explicit television, reflect a society that's become numb to what once would have been shocking.
Did in fact occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in the conduct and being in those spaces, consuming alcohol and things of that nature.
So Baldwin framed this as part of a larger strategy to distract the public from the real issues at hand. It's all about misdirection, he said. They want you looking at the spectacle, not the machinery running behind it. To him, the flash of glamorous parties and scandals is just a smokescreen, hiding the deeper mechanisms of control and manipulation that define Hollywood's power structure. As Baldwin's narrative deepened, he began addressing the troubling pattern of mysterious illnesses and untimely losses that seem to follow certain high-profile figures, including Diddy. While careful not to make direct accusations, he hinted that these events often seem too coincidental to ignore. He described a chilling pattern of individuals who were reportedly close to revealing damaging information or testifying, only to be met with sudden and unexplained circumstances that silenced their voices. Baldwin's words created an unsettling image of an industry where stepping out of line can have devastating consequences. You start connecting the dots, and it's hard not to see a pattern. Baldwin said, his voice lowering as if even speaking the words was a risk. He implied that fear, both of exposure and retaliation, is a tool used to maintain power in an industry that thrives on control.
Guys, we are lucky to have Precious Miora here, and she's been at the Diddy parties, and she's about to spill some secrets.
Baldwin also turned his attention to the media, criticizing its role in perpetuating a culture of secrecy and selective storytelling. He lamented the loss of journalistic integrity, comparing today's agenda-driven coverage to the straightforward reporting of past decades. There was a time when you could trust the news to tell it straight, Baldwin began, before accusing the modern media of twisting narratives to serve hidden agendas. He suggested that the media's role in Hollywood's ecosystem is not just to inform, but to protect those at the top, often at the expense of the truth. He pointed to recent political campaigns as prime examples, where millions were spent on star-studded endorsements that ultimately failed to sway public opinion. People are waking up, Baldwin claimed, noting the rise of independent voices on platforms like podcasts as evidence of a growing distrust in mainstream narratives.
Okay, so basically I was a Playboy bunny. So a Playboy bunny representing New York State. The reason why I need to clarify this is when you're a Playboy bunny, you are part of the corporation and you are a bunny and you do have a title and you wear a uniform, but you don't get a month.
Central to Baldwin's perspective was the concept of power, who holds it, how they maintain it, and what happens when it's threatened. He described Hollywood as a massive conglomerate, more akin to a corporate empire than an artistic community. He suggested that those at the top operate with a level of cold calculation, making decisions that most people would find unthinkable.
But like I said, the entertainment industry is very, very, very messed up when it comes to, the bigger you get, the more you had to do to get there. And so if you're not willing to put yourself in that position, you kind of have to...
Baldwin likened the industry's power players to figures like former intelligence operatives, individuals trained to prioritize strategy and control over morality. To run something this big, you have to be ruthless, Baldwin said, drawing comparisons to figures like George Bush Sr. It's the same in Hollywood, whether it's studio heads, producers, or people like Diddy, they're all playing the same game. And the stakes are higher than most of us can imagine. The revelations about Diddy, in particular, served as a lens through which Baldwin explored the broader issues plaguing the entertainment industry. He described an environment where success often requires collusion, and stepping out of line can mean professional demise or worse. Baldwin suggested that even those who aren't directly involved in questionable activities are complicit through their silence. The system protects itself, he said, implying that the layers of power and influence are designed to shield those at the top from accountability. He argued that breaking this cycle would require exposing not just individuals, but the entire structure that enables such behavior.
Everyone keeps saying to me, like, how did you keep, why did you keep going? Why were you there? I'm like, it literally is around me. If I don't stay at home, this is the atmosphere I'm in. Like, I have no choice.
As Baldwin's interview unfolded, it became clear that his willingness to speak out was as much a personal risk as it was a public service. He admitted to feeling uneasy about the potential consequences of his candor, reflecting on the dangers faced by those who challenge powerful institutions. "I've worried about the things I say on my show," Baldwin confessed. "Is someone going to knock on my door one day? Will I disappear for talking about this stuff? You just don't know." His words served as both a warning and a rallying cry, urging others to question the narratives they're fed and to dig deeper into the stories that often go untold.
And he is very, very dominant. Like, he wants to control the situation. He wants to control his inner circle. He wants to make everyone have a good time and enjoy his parties. And so, it is scary because you think, this person or possibly his social network or the people he's around could make or break your career.
Baldwin's insights into Diddy's alleged actions and Hollywood's broader culture of control left many listeners shaken. His candidness, combined with his insider perspective, lent weight to his claims and sparked fresh conversations about accountability in the entertainment world. But Baldwin himself seemed to acknowledge the limits of what could be uncovered. "This is just the tip of the iceberg," he said, hinting at even darker secrets lurking beneath the surface. As the interview came to a close, Baldwin introduced a new thread, pointing to recent accusations from individuals like Precious Mirror, whose testimonies have added further complexity to the growing controversy. With each new account, the puzzle seems to grow larger, leaving more questions than answers.
I don't know the consequences of what that could have been. So I didn't really talk about it. I should have gone to the police. I should have said something other than to my agent. I'm just thankful that there was somebody there. There was somebody at that party who helped me, because I could have ended up in a really bad situation.
The revelations surrounding Diddy's alleged actions don't just stop at the whispers of hidden cameras and secret recordings. The rabbit hole goes even deeper, and as more voices come forward, a chilling picture begins to emerge, one that calls into question not just Diddy's behavior, but the entire structure of power in Hollywood. One of these voices is former model and television presenter Precious Mirror, who has started speaking openly about her experiences at Diddy's infamous parties. Her accounts, mixed with broader allegations, have added gasoline to an already blazing fire. What's most shocking is not just the claims themselves, but the consistent themes of manipulation, control, and exploitation that seem to follow these stories like a shadow. The question now is, how far does this go?
He was using, allegedly, these events to invite them back to these private mansion parties and hotel parties and God knows what else. But he was utilizing the branded events to be able to, get the girls to come over to his private spaces.
Precious Mirror's recollections paint a vivid and unsettling picture of what it was like to attend one of Diddy's exclusive gatherings. She recalled being invited to one of his highly coveted white parties during her early modeling days, an event she hoped would be a stepping stone for her career. Instead, she found herself feeling vulnerable and out of place in a setting that seemed designed to exploit those who didn't yet understand the unspoken rules of Hollywood. According to her, Diddy's team even arranged for black SUVs to pick up young models, ferrying them from Manhattan to his mansion in the Hamptons, a gesture that seemed glamorous at first, but quickly took on a darker undertone.
There is so many people involved in this situation that works the machine here, that, Diddy's obviously the head of the whole situation, the king of parties, but there is multiple other people involved that are helping along the situation or, participating in.
Mir described the environment as intimidating, particularly for newcomers like herself. She recalled walking into the party and immediately feeling like she and the other models were being sized up by the more established attendees. "We were fresh faces, new talent," she said. "We were seen as easy to manipulate, as if we were just another commodity." The party, she claimed, had a distinct shift in energy as the night wore on. As the crowd thinned, only the elite and those deemed important enough were allowed to stay. It was then that the doors were locked, and the atmosphere changed from one of celebration to something far more controlled and exclusive. Mir's claims suggest that these late-night gatherings were less about networking and more about power dynamics, where the lines between professional and personal blurred in ways that left her feeling both uncomfortable and unsafe.
These are all allegations that have become shockingly familiar against Diddy in recent months as he has faced lawsuit after lawsuit from women and men who have accused him of all manner.
But what makes Mir's story even more alarming is her assertion that surveillance was a key part of these events. She alleged that there were hidden cameras installed throughout Diddy's mansion, including in private bedrooms. While security cameras in high-value properties are standard, Mir questioned why they were placed in areas meant to be private. There's no reason for cameras to be in bedrooms unless you're trying to record something you shouldn't be, she remarked. These claims echo the rumors about Diddy's parties acting as a trap for the powerful, where compromising footage could be used as leverage. Mir even drew comparisons to her time working at the Playboy Mansion, where similar allegations of surveillance had surfaced. It's a formula, she said, and it's not unique to Diddy. This is something that exists across the entertainment industry.
Dawn had the choice to file the case as a Jane Doe, and she chose not to do that. After giving it a fair amount of thought, she wants accountability.
The idea of a formula is a key point in Mir's narrative, as it suggests that these alleged behaviors are not isolated incidents but part of a broader system within Hollywood. She mentioned seeing patterns of manipulation and control that extended beyond Diddy, describing an industry where vulnerability is exploited as a matter of course. According to her, these parties weren't just gatherings but carefully curated environments designed to identify who could be controlled, who could be silenced, and who could be discarded. Mir's claims are further supported by other allegations that have surfaced, including those involving blackmail, secret recordings, and a culture of fear that keeps people from speaking out.
I'm not sure. I don't buy for a minute that he's going to prison without getting out of here somewhere and stashing $2 billion or whatever. I think he has that kind of power, meaning Sean himself. But remember, it goes a lot deeper than that.
One of the most shocking threads in this web of allegations involves the mysterious illnesses and sudden disappearances of certain individuals connected to Diddy. While it's important to approach these claims with caution, the sheer number of rumors is hard to ignore. Mir herself hinted at a trail of silence surrounding those who might have had damaging information about Diddy. She referenced cases where individuals were reportedly on the brink of testifying or coming forward, only to face inexplicable tragedies that left them unable to speak. These stories, while unverified, add a layer of paranoia to an already chilling narrative.
Diddy has been under criminal investigation for months by federal prosecutors here in New York. And if there are criminal charges, many of them may look a lot like what some of these individuals have been describing.
And then there's the case of Jamie Foxx, whose mysterious health crisis in 2023 has sparked endless speculation. While Foxx has remained relatively quiet about the details, rumors have swirled that Diddy may have been involved in some way. Fox's upcoming Netflix special, What Had Happened Was, has only added fuel to the fire, with reports suggesting that he might address these allegations directly. Some who attended the show's tapings claim Foxx hinted at Diddy's involvement in his health scare, while others believe his comments were more tongue-in-cheek. Regardless, the connection between the two has become a focal point for those trying to piece together the bigger picture.
Jamie Foxx addresses whether Diddy was responsible for his 2023 hospitalization during live shows.
The accusations against Diddy don't stop with the parties or the alleged surveillance. Federal prosecutors have painted a damning portrait of his behavior, describing him as someone who used his influence to control and intimidate those around him. The recent raids on his properties in Los Angeles and Miami revealed a staggering amount of materials that seem to corroborate the rumors about his so-called freak-off events. Authorities reportedly uncovered a bizarre collection of items, including over 1,000 bottles of oil and various other supplies that seem tailored for these infamous gatherings. While Diddy has denied all allegations and pleaded not guilty to the charges against him, the sheer weight of the evidence and the testimonies piling up against him have left many wondering how he will escape unscathed.
During the tapings of his upcoming Netflix special, What Had Happened Was, Jamie Foxx reportedly stated Diddy was responsible for what happened to him, and Foxx is the one who called the FBI on Combs.
What's even more troubling is the alleged network of enablers that prosecutors claim Diddy relied on to maintain his influence. From assistants to security personnel, these individuals are said to have played a key role in facilitating his activities, ensuring that everything ran smoothly and that any potential whistleblowers were silenced. This echoes the broader culture of complicity that Precious Mir and others have described, where those in positions of power are protected by a system that prioritizes loyalty over accountability. It's a cycle that keeps the powerful in power while leaving victims with little to no recourse.
He said in the special that, I was hospitalized by this person. And mind you, him and Diddy have had a business falling out. They said they had a beef. So the choke, no choke was a videographer, and he was like, yo, I was there. He said Diddy was responsible for what happened to him and that he's the one that called the FBI. And Choke added, I don't think he was joking.
Mears' claims also touch on the broader issue of how Hollywood handles its scandals. She argued that the entertainment industry has a long history of sweeping allegations under the rug, often through out-of-court settlements or by discrediting the accusers. This, she said, creates an environment where speaking out feels not only futile but dangerous. People are scared, she said. They're scared for their careers, for their safety, for their lives. Her words echo the sentiments of many who have come forward with similar stories, only to face backlash, intimidation, or worse. As more allegations come to light, the public's perception of Diddy has shifted dramatically. Once celebrated as a trailblazer in music and business, he is now seen by many as a symbol of everything wrong with Hollywood's culture of excess and exploitation. But the question remains, will these revelations lead to real change? Or will they simply become another chapter in a long history of scandals that are eventually forgotten? For now, the spotlight remains firmly on Diddy, but the implications of these allegations go far beyond just one man. They force us to confront uncomfortable truths about the systems that allow such behaviors to persist and the cost of staying silent in the face of abuse.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't put it past somebody like Diddy, who we know the track record from his allegedly having people shot, having, baby oil that had freaking in it, to all the crazy stuff that's going on. This is the least of my thing. If you have a beef with somebody and then poisoning them.
The story doesn't end here. With Diddy's trial set for next year, and with figures like Precious Mirror continuing to speak out, it's clear that this is just the beginning of a much larger reckoning. The entertainment industry is facing a moment of truth, one that could either lead to meaningful reform or further entrench the systems of power that have allowed these allegations to flourish. For now, all eyes are on the courtroom, where the world will be watching to see whether justice will finally be served, or if Hollywood's culture of impunity will prevail once again. Either way, this story is far from over, and the questions it raises will continue to haunt the industry for years to come. So what do you think? Are the allegations against Diddy just the tip of the iceberg, hinting at a much darker side of Hollywood? And how far do you believe the culture of silence and complicity goes? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more revealing insights into the world of celebrity gossip. Until next time.